Hello everyone, welcome back to the Trevor Matson Talks Movies YouTube channel. I'm Trevor and today I will be ranking all 10 DCEU films. As a quick disclaimer, Zack Snyder's Justice League will not be on this list. As much as I love the film, it may have even been number one on the list if I included it. Zack Snyder himself has said that it is not part of the DCEU, so I have chosen not to include it in my rankings. But without further ado, here are my rankings of the DCEU. Number 10, Suicide Squad. Where to begin? I guess I'll start with the positives, the few that there are. Margot Robbie is phenomenal. She is truly one of those once-in-a-lifetime casting choices akin to Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, or J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. She was born to be Harley Quinn. Other than that, the movie's trash. The editing is god-awful. I know it's been said 1,000 times, so I won't speak too much on it. But whatever semblance of a movie was shot was completely and entirely lost in the edit. It makes this movie completely unwatchable at points. Number 9, Justice League. This is a film that I actually have some fond memories of. It was my first superhero movie in theaters. I was 12 at the time and had no idea what all the behind the scenes stuff was. I enjoyed myself, but even then I didn't think it was great. I talked about editing issues with Suicide Squad, and Justice League has some similar issues. There are 3 movies all trying to exist within this one film. Zack Snyder's film, Joss Whedon's film, and Warner Brothers' film. None of them are prevailing, and in the end, it's just all messily thrown together. But hey, at least Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and Gal Gadot were there to make this at least a little bit bearable. Number 8, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. On rewatch, I found I liked this movie more and more. When I initially saw it, I hated it. I honestly think I was just piling onto the negativity because there is a lot of bad at the forefront in this film, but there's also a lot to like. I'm really a fan of all of this cast, particularly Jesse Eisenberg. I know I'm probably in the minority, but this version of Lex Luthor really works for me. It's like a DC Universe sequel to The Social Network. This is what Mark Zuckerberg would be like in a superhero movie. This movie is incredibly convoluted, and then there's, the Martha moment. But I think a lot of the action scenes and smaller character moments keep this from being absolutely horrible. Number 7, Wonder Woman 1984. After watching this film, I felt incredibly disappointed. Is it terrible? No, just disappointing. Gal Gadot is fantastic as always, but it feels like Patty Jenkins bit off a bit more than she could chew. There are too many times where this film just felt unfocused, like it didn't really know what it wanted to be, which just led to the messy 80s nostalgia fest that never really committed to being an 80s nostalgia fest. One thing that has grown on me is the tone, strangely enough. When you're watching it as a sequel to Wonder Woman, you expect something much darker. At least that's what I was expecting. But this movie is so much lighter, which is jarring at first. But once you accept that this is basically a Christopher Reeve Superman film, you can have so much more fun with it. Number 6, Aquaman. For starters, this might be the most visually gorgeous movie on this list. All of the water scenes look incredible. The world building is phenomenal, and just the little attention to detail, it's so good. I also really like the cinematography in this. It's just really impressive visually all around. But this movie, much like a lot of the DCEU, just seems so unfocused on what it wants to be. I don't know if this is supposed to be a comedy, an action movie, a sci-fi movie, or a horror movie. It feels like so many movies in one, which is a criticism I'm realizing I have a lot of the DCEU, but hey, Jason Momoa is awesome. What's not to like? Number 5, Man of Steel. Like most Zack Snyder movies, the more I watch it, the more I like it. This movie has lots of problems, particularly stemming from the fact that it deviates from Superman's character a lot, but those are expectations going into the film that aren't completely fair. Treating this as a standalone film, I think it's really, really good. Both Henry Cavill and Amy Adams are phenomenal. I would even go as far to say that Henry Cavill is the greatest on-screen Superman of all time. This movie, even through its problems, is just a lot of fun and a movie that I would actively want to rewatch. Number 4, The Suicide Squad. The latest installment comes in at number 4 for me. It's leaps and bounds ahead of 2016 Suicide Squad, and it's just such a fun movie to watch. Like, it's legitimate, pure fun. You could tell Gunn was having fun, the cast was having fun, and I was having fun. Is this movie perfect? No, absolutely not. The plot is incredibly flimsy and incoherent at best, but while that keeps this from higher on my list, it also doesn't negate from the movie too much. This movie wants you to focus on the chemistry of the Fantastic Ensemble, and Gunn highlights them perfectly. This movie needed to be rated R, even if it feels like it's being R just to be R at times. I was just having too much fun watching it that I'm not going to nitpick it too much. I like this movie. Number 3. Shazam! Yes, you legally have to say it with the exclamation point at the end. This movie is a great coming-of-age film. It feels very grounded as well, probably the most grounded of the DCEU, strangely, even with all the wizard stuff and with Snyder intentionally trying to ground his films. It's just the screenplay is very believable. It almost feels like a happier version of Chronicle in a weird way. Part of the believability is the cast. The family dynamics of the kids is just phenomenal, and Zachary Levi messes with them perfectly. He pulls off the best adult plays a kid that gets turned into an adult performance I've ever seen. Well, okay, maybe Jack Black rivals him in Jumanji, but that's beside the point. This movie is absolutely hilarious, though, and it pulls some solid drama superhero stuff as well. This movie does what most DCEU films can't. It balances tones and genres really, really well, which just leads to a solid film. Number 2, Birds of Prey, or whatever it's called. Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, or The Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. I don't know. Whatever it's called, this movie's awesome. I don't know how to describe it any other way. It's just awesome. And this is the first time we get to see Margot Robbie really shine as Harley Quinn. And it's just because she's allowed to let loose and be Harley Quinn. The supporting cast in this is also just phenomenal. Jurnee Smollett, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Ewan McGregor, Rosie Perez, they're all great. And the ensemble also consistently makes me laugh multiple times I watch this movie, particularly the perfect egg sandwich sequence. It's just so good. It's perfection. That's the definition of perfect comedy, at least to me. On a technical level, I love how color is used throughout the film. The cinematography and editing are just super energetic, and it really matches Harley Quinn's unreliable narrator thing that she has going on throughout the entire film. Also, the makeup and hair is just great, of course. This movie, I just think it's really, really great, and I think it's pretty underrated in the grand scheme of DC movies. Number 1, Wonder Woman. This movie has been at the top of my DCEU rankings for 4 years, and I don't foresee it leaving in the near future. I just think that this is a pretty great, I don't want to say perfect, but it's pretty close to perfect war movie. And I just really enjoy that genre. Gal Gadot, while I don't think she's a great actress in most things, I think that she's a perfect Wonder Woman. Legitimately the best actress of all time for the role. I don't think that anybody could do it better. Chris Pine is so charismatic and fun in this, and his chemistry with Gadot is off the charts. The No Man's Land scene is probably one of the most perfect scenes in comic book movie history. The score is absolutely incredible, and I love the supporting team of soldiers. Contrary to other superhero films, they are really developed for just a supporting sidekick team, I guess you could call them. You care about each of them, and they all have stakes in the battles that take place, and you feel for them, which is really great from Patty Jenkins. Like, she shows that she's a phenomenal director in this film for only her second movie ever. And the way that she has put this entire film together makes it, in my opinion, the greatest DCEU film to date. Okay, everybody, those have been my DCEU rankings. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, my rankings aren't necessarily the correct rankings. They're just mine. Form your own opinions and feel free to put your rankings in the comments section below. I would love to hear them. Thank you so much for watching, and until I see you again, stay safe, everybody, and goodbye.